Hello everyone, and welcome back to Transformers Month. So far we've seen knockoffs from the Asylum, rival toy companies, but what roster of ripoffs would be complete without our old friends at Video Brinquedo? That's right, today we're going to be looking at Gladiformers. Yes, you all have been requesting this one, so now it's finally time for me to review it. Our movie opens in a gladiatorial arena, and you'll immediately notice that this looks nothing like any movie from Video Brinquedo that we've seen before. The textures are gritty, the lighting is dark and stylized. They obviously put a lot more thought into the art direction here than in previous movies. This arena is run by the Supreme Bots, who capture Gladiformers to fight to the death for their amusement. And while we never see the Supreme Bots, they're represented by letters written in medieval font, which I guess is supposed to make them look alien and mysterious. Because Lord knows there is no other way to make an unknown villain seem mysterious or menacing, is there?
The Centaurus fights. The greatest, the best. No time limit, no mercy. Though two fighters enter, only one fighter will leave.
And in our world full of robots, we have some bald guy acting as the MC. Is this what the Supreme Bots actually look like? Before the fighting can begin, we see some banter between the competitors.
Morajate, can you hear me? Answer! That's an order!
I hear you loud and clear, Master Magnum Tutor.
Who will our opponents be, Morajate?
Julius Drive is here, Magnum Tutor.
Are you sure, Morajate?
Yes, Master. In one of these cells is Julius Drive, the one who hurt you.
Silence, Morajate! You don't have to remind me how much I hate this worm. For now, it's good to know my revenge has new goals. Now I'll defeat him with my own hands, and no one can stop me!
Please, Godbots, help me! Give me strength and courage to prevent Magnum Tutor from killing Julius Drive!
Seriously? Godbots? You know, I'm not against the idea of a race of machines having their own pantheon of gods to worship, but that's what you're gonna call them? I don't remember too many human cultures worshipping the almighty god guys. It turns out that the first fight of the evening will be between Dante Logis here and our Megatron stand-in, Magnum Tutor. And I hate not knowing this voice actor's name, but regardless, it's fun to hear the voice of Mr. Polaris from the little panda fighter coming out of Magnum Tutor.
Whoever dares to cross my path will know my fury. Be very afraid.
So they face off, and transform to robot mode so they can begin the fight.
Behold, 2,000 kilotons of power!
Wow, was that lame. I mean, wow. You couldn't figure out how to make these characters transform by twisting and folding themselves up like they're supposed to, so you have to break them apart and reassemble them as if they were Legos? Not only does that make the animators look lazy, but it makes the Gladiformers themselves just look weak. With none of their body parts actually fastened together, they look incredibly easy to destroy. But then again, they actually do keep the same transformation sequences every time, so I guess they got that part right. And also, these Transformers knockoffs actually do look Transformery. Definitely a plus, considering how many other knockoffs tried not to look Transformery for some reason. In the midst of this fight, we see a flashback where Dante was saved by Julius Drive, our Optimus Prime stand-in, and he vows to stop Magnum Tutor so that Julius won't have to fight him himself. But that vow falls upon deaf Godbots, and Magnum Tutor wins the match. Next up is an early prototype Gladiformer named Project 1, and a returning winner of 7 tournaments named Corjo Disblow, who I can only assume was named after a bad Scrabble hand.
The bets are on!
Bets? What are they talking about?
I would say you've never been in a fighting arena.
This is a real arena? This isn't a simulation?
So the Supreme Bots are billing this guy as a winner of 7 tournaments, but he's never actually been in a real fight? There's some kind of betting conspiracy here.
My simulation training will more than compensate for my lack of experience.
Hey, wait a minute. Corjo is talking, but we're seeing Project 1 transform? Ah, damn it, they put the voices to the wrong characters when dubbing this movie. First it's the inexperienced green guy talking himself up to the hardened blue guy. Now it's the blue guy who's actually the greenhorn.
Great continuity!
Anyway, blue guy starts kicking green guy's ass, but green guy has a little secret to tell him.
Have you won against your creator? Have you defeated Patreon Tokal?
My creator has never been an opponent in any of my simulations.
So you'll have the chance to fight against him.
My creator? Patreon Tokal is here?
Yes, Project One, you can thank me. If it wasn't for me, this fight would be you against him. If you win this fight, you'll be facing your creator in the next fight.
I cannot fight against my own creator!
Yeah, it seems that blue guy can't bring himself to fight his own creator, so he stands by and just lets green guy— Oh my god! Okay, points for showing us that death actually means something in this movie. I mean, often when a robot character dies in some other movie, they just might be easily repaired, but that? You're not walking away from that. And if you can't fight your own creator, that's fine, but if you've resigned yourself to your fate, why not kill green guy and anyone else in your way until you actually get to your creator, and then lay down your arms? At least that way you'd be preventing anyone else from killing him for as long as you could.
Haven't you ever calculated this in your simulations?
The next match is between Julius Drive and Mita-Gortim. These names are just gonna get sillier with every match, aren't they?
Mita-Gortim. I believe I've heard your name.
Yes, I've also heard your name, Prince Julius Drive.
Your country is in the north, almost outside my domain.
We are outside your domain. Outside your domain. Do you understand?
It doesn't matter. Even a prince like me could fall in the hands of slave merchants and end up in a fighting arena like this one. It seems the Supreme Bots have no favorites between you and I.
We're nothing here, Julius Drive. We'll have to fight until one of us falls.
What a ruthless fate. We don't have a good reason to fight.
Actually, we do have a reason, Julius Drive.
So, Julius Drive is a prince who gets sold to slave traders and is subsequently sold to this gladiatorial arena to fight to the death with someone from a country which has a lot of political tensions between it and his own country. This movie is actually trying to illustrate the world in which the Gladiformers live. I like it! No, really, I'm digging this. Apparently, Julius's and Mita's respective countries are in the midst of some kind of border dispute, and we don't know who took what from whom or who's in the right to try to get it back. Too many other movies would just paint these characters with the broadest strokes of good guy versus bad guy, but the little information we have about these characters and their histories sound like a very real dispute that you'd see in real life. Of course, I do prefer it when we actually know who to root for, but I honestly do like how both of these characters have perfectly believable motivations and aren't just evil for the sake of evil. And apparently this world has slave merchants that are so brazen that they'll even sell royalty into slavery? This is a movie I'd want to see a prequel to. But back to the fight. Mita strikes a winning blow when Julius's back is turned, and he wins the match.
Wait, I protest. An attack from behind is not tolerable. An attack from behind is not tolerable.
Okay, so in this world where anybody can be captured and subject to fighting to the death for the entertainment of supreme beings who will provide them with a number of weapons, and they say that there are no rules here, no time limitations or anything like that, but an attack from the back is not tolerable? I didn't know that gladiatorial combat was subject to fair play. But yeah, because Mita stabs Julius in the back, the Supreme Bots destroy him on the spot. Confused yet? You should be. Next in line is Morta Jarte and Blue Guy's creator, Patreon Tokal. They talk smack for a bit while the camera tries desperately to figure out what it should be focusing on since these robots don't have faces while in their vehicle modes, and their fight begins.
Feel my destroying attack!
Yeah, this is a good spot to talk about the fight scenes in this movie. The animation itself isn't all that bad, really. But where these fights fall apart is that they don't have the right kind of sound effects to complement them. This fight begins with Morajarte flying at top speed towards Patreon, and the resulting punch should have a loud crashing sound behind it. But all we get is a little thup. Let's look back at this clip from Beast Wars for a second. Now let's see that exact same fight with the sound taken out.
This is just the beginning.
Doesn't exactly have the same punch, does it? Patreon is about to win the fight, but then Magnum Tutor starts transferring his energy into Morajarte. Flag on the play? Stabbing someone in the back disqualifies the match, but this is allowed to fly?
Master Magnum Tutor, what happened?
I realized you're stealing my vital energy, Morajarte.
It's not by my free will, Master.
Wait, what? Magnum Tutor isn't giving away his energy, it's just going into Morajarte automatically? Is Morajarte some kind of robot sponge or something? Even if his body is designed to just start leeching energy whenever he's low on power, wouldn't Patreon be the first one to start going for?
Yeah. Now that you're weakened, all I have to do is... Ooh, sleepy time.
But it seems that having all that extra power doesn't mean a damn thing, since he gets completely annihilated here. Damn, this movie doesn't mess around, does it? Patreon is declared the winner, and now he's up against the newly repaired Julius Drive.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Why are you looking at me like this?
Looking at you like what? He doesn't have any eyes!
I'm a machinist, Julius Drive. Any model fascinates me.
Any model, huh? If you insist. Anyway, Julius Drive has somehow gained twice the energy that he had before, because science, and Patreon wants it for himself. They fight for a bit, but then the fight is interrupted by another flashback so Patreon can exposit how he used to build machines for the Supreme Bots.
But no one knows that I built the perfect model. The problem is that he never left the drawing plans. This perfection demands a very high power level. I could never build a regenerator that supported so much.
If you never bothered to build it because you knew it wouldn't be very fuel efficient, then you can't really call it the perfect model now, can you? And why are you even bringing this up? I devised a foolproof plan to save the world by blowing up a small part of it with a giant squid monster. You won't get away with it, fight. Get away with it? I didn't even start it. Oh. Really? Yeah. And you have no desire to do it later or anything, or... No, not especially. No,
I was hit. Wait. This is how Julius Drive started accumulating power. Maybe I could accumulate it the same way in my arm. It works. I understood the procedure. Attack, Julius Drive! Attack!
You know, we've seen a lot of weird technology in these last few reviews, haven't we? We've seen robots that we can reverse engineer into perfect human clones, but we can't replace their batteries without killing them. We've seen super advanced robots based on technology that we built in the 1940s despite a complete lack of any robotic mechanisms inside them. Robots that were made by people who had no idea what to do with them, and now we have robots that can steal your energy if you hit them for long enough. I'm all for science bringing us things that are otherwise impossible, but... really? But yeah, Patreon just lets himself get beaten up by Julius Drive, and this somehow siphons his energy away. And then he just explodes from sucking up too much power. And this guy was one of our leading scientists, apparently. Dumbass. We then see Corjo Displo facing Magnum Tutor, and it should be noted that the folks at Video Brinquedo, who are famous for their otherwise terrible animation, apparently know how to do particle systems better than the $65 million food fight. Before they begin fighting, they of course have to do a little trash talking, just like every other fight scene so far, for over 2 minutes straight.
I may be a slave, but I'm not a stupid fighter.
I'm afraid you're mistaken, Thunderchump, because your time is up.
The fight doesn't take long before Magnum Tutor lops Corjo's head off. And how bad is it when decapitation is the most tame death that we've seen so far? With Magnum Tutor the victor, it's time for the final battle between him and Julius Drive. Two princes not only fighting for their own lives, but for the fate of their nation. For whoever walks out of this arena will be the sole leader of their country. Or at least that's how Magnum Tutor sees it, but Julius doesn't see how the winner can be anything more than a slave to the Supreme Bots. Yeah, no hope of escaping their clutches or anything. The only way out of their control is letting yourself be killed, apparently. Sheesh, this Optimus knockoff isn't very optimistic, is he?
Our fight will take many hours. Are you ready?
Not really. I mean, we're already an hour into this movie, and, the DVD case here says that it's only 67 minutes long. I wasn't really anticipating a fight to last for several hours. If you think this battle's gonna go on for that long, do you think I can take a break to use the bathroom real quick? Maybe I could grab a sandwich or something, or... They throw a few punches, and the Supreme Bots start talking amongst themselves.
When the fight has a personal reason behind it, it gets even more interesting.
But it's hard to find such fighters, although it seems that these beings love disharmony among their own species.
Excuse me, but aren't they only here because you brought them here? And I'm pretty sure the only reason that they're fighting is because you'll blow them up if they don't.
Give up, Julius Drive!
I know you're not all ambition, Magnum Tutor. I think your problem is envy. You think I have everything as a Prince Regent, but I'm not the owner. I just rule what is common to all. Except, of course, to Princess Mana Elus. She is in fact the true owner. And she owns my main circuits. Maybe you feel envious of her, or envious of me.
Ugh. I know I said I was enjoying how all these characters have their own intertwining little histories with each other, but you can't introduce a character motivation like someone being jealous of their brother's girlfriend with only 2 minutes left of the movie.
This is the greatest betrayal that you've imposed on our noble race. You've given the Supreme Bots the chance to find out our secrets when they go out to select more units.
He's giving the Supreme Bots a chance to learn your secrets? Hey, moron, stop monologuing! They go back to fighting, but Magnum Tutor finds that Morajarte sucked out all of his power reserves earlier, and he can't go on fighting. So yeah, our final battle between these two foes ends with the bad guy just sort of petering out. And that's where the movie decides to stop, too. No resolution of any kind, just roll the credits. So that was Gladiformers. And as far as Video Brinquedo goes, it wasn't really that bad. Honestly, you really get a sense that they were actually trying to do something with this movie. Granted, the camera work is too extreme. The story being dished out in a series of exposition dumps gets tedious when it would be better to actually show us how we got here. Some of the science portrayed is pretty damn questionable. The minimal use of sound effects really hurt the fight scenes, and it would have benefited greatly by having a real ending. But on the other hand, the animation is better than a lot of other Video Brinquedo movies. The rock music in the underscore was fun to listen to. The characters actually have definable character traits and backstories to them, and it's nice seeing robots fight when they look nothing like each other. That might sound like a strange thing to compliment, but when too many other movies insist on making their giant robots look like the same unidentifiable mass of jagged gray, being able to tell one character from another is a huge deal. This movie feels like it's genuinely trying to be more than what it is. And when other movies don't strive to give you anything more than the most basic of entertainment value, I feel like I have to give it respect for trying, at least. It's like it actually understands that the Transformers really are supposed to be more than meets the eye. And if Video Brinquedo keeps making movies like this, someday they just might be as well. See you next time.
Subscribe, like, follow, comment, share, watch more.